appreciate you letting us know. Thank you, Anthony. Okay, perhaps others are on their way, but it is a couple of minutes after. If you'll take your seats, we'll go ahead and start the meeting. Okay, I call this special call meeting of the General Council of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma on this July 27th of 2024 to order, and I ask the Secretary to call the roll.
Leetta Sampson, Anthony Conley, here. John Narkamy, here. Rena Tiger, here. Anastasia Pittman, Terry Edwards, Ida Gonzalez, here. Nancy Fixico, Leon Petit, David Narkamy, Joseph Billy, here. Dolores Harjo, Karen Fulbright, here. Ann Borba, Stephanie Lambert, here. Sina Yeslith, Lottie Cootie, here. Marilyn Moore, here. Henson Lena, here. Richmond Larney, here. Wayne Shaw, here. Tiffany Thunder, Catherine McCoy, here. Charlie Hill, here. Tommy Chupko, here. Danita Harjo, here. Willis Dethridge, here. Desiree Emerton, here. I have 18 present, 10 absent.
With a count of 18 present and 10 absent, we have met the requirement for a quorum. So we are in session at this time. Do I have a volunteer to offer the prayer? If I don't have a volunteer, Representative Lena, would you offer the prayer this morning? If everybody would stand. Thank you. Amen. Reading of the minutes of the last meeting, there is none. We are now in unfinished business. We have TR 2023-77. Representative Shaw. Okay. Now I know we have kind of went over this, over the last several months about HIP is no longer allowed with the American Rescue Plan Act. It was at one point up until December of last year. So we're going to have to change some language in this, and we're going to have to do it here now, or it's going to be out of order now because you have we kept saying we can't include HIP in the language of this resolution if the intention is to do what it did when we did have HIP as of allowance with the funding for ARPA. So the floor is open for discussion. At this time, there is a motion and a second, and we're going to have to amend this. If we don't, it's going to be out of order. Representative Dethridge and Representative Larney, okay? That's how I seen the hands go up. Representative Dethridge.
Yes, sir. At our band meeting the other evening, the assistant chief was, he's a member of our band. He was at our meeting. He had asked about these first two pieces of legislation, if he could be allowed to speak on these and give us some guidance as to what we need to do to clear these two matters up. So I'm asking.
Are you calling Assistant Chief to the floor?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Assistant Chief.
Good morning, everyone. Yes, sir.
Tell me about this tribal resolution 2023-77, and Miko expounded on it just a shade more. Tell me about what we need to do to make this a legal piece of legislation.
My recommendation is to withdraw this resolution. And the reason why I say that is the next resolution that's on there in its original presented form prior to any amendments would include rehabilitation. Neighborhood investment, as we would define it, and under the final rule, which in June, another 18 pages of housing-specific ARPA rules was released. I don't know if anyone has read those, but they were put on the council portal and also emailed to all of our general council representatives. It includes rehabilitation. It includes rehabilitation. However, if we include that specific language outside of the reservation, we would need to redraft some of that language, because the next resolution that's tabled, we don't know what the housing needs are in Beaver County. We haven't done a feasibility study. So for us to present it and approve it with that language, there's going to be some false statements on our behalf.
What we're wanting is to be able to house those people outside of the reservation just as well, like the original housing improvement plan did.
And if we were to amend that with a clause that is specific for rehab only, then we can achieve that, because we're not saying it's inclusive to an entire jurisdictional area that we've not done any feasibility studies. But, and I agree with that, but to present it with that simple amendment of scratching out reservation boundaries with some of the context of that resolution as it's drafted would be false on our part, because we haven't done feasibility studies in any of the other tribal jurisdictions in the state of Oklahoma. I mean, for this, we could include it for tribal members in Alaska. But, you know, realistically, how would we achieve that? So there's going to have to be some limitations somewhere. We just need to make sure that we're specific. And it's with ARPA, it's very difficult to get that language correct with verbal amendments. So if that's the wishes of the council, which is to achieve rehab, but also neighborhood investment, we can do that. We define what a neighborhood is. Wolf is a neighborhood to us, right? Varnum is a neighborhood to us. Neighborhood investment could include infrastructure, housing infrastructure, water infrastructure, road infrastructure, storm cellars, community housing, homeless housing. We define that, and it's all under the final rule. Representative Larney.
What about the previous allegations?
Again, it would be the privilege of the council to determine who's eligible and who's not. With that, I would recommend, because there were so many that had the high score sheets, you know, the higher numbers, that they maybe get priority to be served. And then from there, we can define what the inclusiveness of that is. But the way that original resolution is drafted, neighborhood investment and affordable housing units, we define what is needed in the neighborhood. If it's water infrastructure, sewer infrastructure, broadband, storm cellars, community centers, housing repair program, rehab, rehabilitation is the words, is the language that is now used in that last 18 pages that was released for housing. And that was released in June from under the ARPA guidelines. So we can achieve what council and what our people want and need. We just need to make sure that that language is supported by the language that is within the final rule, how we have to report that, and how we need to execute that to get the deliverables we want and still be in compliance with the final rule so nothing's disallowed.
Well, not having the final rule in hand and not have read it.
It was released in 2021.
You're saying that.
We're still on the original motion, TR 2023-77. I know he spoke to the next one
Right.
quite a bit.
On 77 there, but you're saying that we can't go out of county?
I didn't say that.
Those people were out of county.
I didn't say that.
Oh. What were you saying?
I think if we stick to the original resolution that's on the floor, and then if we get to the next one, then we can expound a little bit more on that, okay? Because I
Yeah.
think that's what's kind of interfering with the clarity.
What about modifying the original resolution?
I would still recommend that we withdraw it, take our time to draft it with the language that's needed for us to be supportive of the final rule and the intent of what we want to be delivered. Because verbals are very, very sketchy.
What we're looking at is December the 31st is a deadline on all this.
Of 2026.
Yeah, what you have now, there's constant change sometimes in the guidelines, and I even spoke to the Secretary of Treasury's representative to tribes just yesterday and day before, and so they are stretching some times out. As long as you have all your application process and everything concluded by December of '24, then you can continue on until '26 with these projects. Now, those are some changes that's taken place just in the last few months with the secretary. But the HIP is totally out. We can't have any. We cannot have any HIP language in a resolution. So we will be having a budget, a comprehensive budget meeting. Obviously, maybe in August. We're going to take a look at the date that's more feasible for everyone to be able to attend that. And maybe we could put that back on here at that time and get some more clear language as Assistant Chief is recommending. Well, really, Wayne, it would have been better if, I think originally when we stopped, with the table, to the Attorney General, and then you get together, and then whoever else would be there to try to get the correct language so that we could move on with this. Because it originally came as a verbal, it was withdrawn, and then you picked it up, and then there's just a little bit of back and forth here.
Right.
Yeah. You yield the floor, Representative Shaw?
Yes, I'll yield.
Okay, Representative Dethridge.
Yes, sir. I would like to ask that Mr. Shaw withdraw and set up a time with the Assistant Chief for the proper wording to accomplish what Mr. Shaw's desires are in this legislation. That's what I would ask right now.
Even the established list under HIP, council would have to address that clarity in the resolution as well. So that if we were going to go off of that established, already set, which we as executive had absolutely nothing to do with how that happened. It was through, community development and special folks that came in and helped them to assess those needs of the people and rank them, right? So that they could have, and as they came in too. So they stayed with the system that was as fair and adequate as possible. So if we're going to go with that same that same list cut off where we were, the council will have to make that determination within the resolution as well. Representative Larney,
I asked the question to Mr. Shaw. What was his response on that?
he's look,
Until we finish discussion, I'll hold my answer to that.
he wants to finish discussion and then,
Then I'll tell you whether I will or will not, because there's some things.
okay, Representative Detheridge, do you yield the floor at this moment?
Absolutely.
Okay, Representative Larney.
Yeah, I would like to make some amendments to that 2023-77, because look, it's been withdrawn one time, and five times, and we were supposed to have help before. We were supposed to be on this is being delayed.
Well, it's not being delayed. I think it's not being delayed here. What happened is the folks at the council acknowledged that it's supposed to meet. The AG reached out many times, and it just didn't happen, okay? So it's not being delayed. It's a matter of people meeting together and coming down to some matter of reasoning for this. Executive has expressed that you cannot have the HIP language. We already know that's expired in December of last year. And when executive, gives you those kind of recommendations, then you take that and say, take all HIP language, but here we are and it's still there. Okay, we'll see what Representative Shaw does. And then maybe several people can gather, as Representative Detheridge said.
Well, I was going to ask Mr. Shaw if I could propose some friendly amendments to that.
I have no problem.
I have no problem with it. So I say friendly amendments.
Well, the actual order is, I'll make a friendly amendment, and then the first and second who made the motion would accept it. So is that how you're going to place it? You're going to, okay.
And after friendly amendments, accept or not accept.
That's correct. What state your friendly amendments? And that's what he was just saying, doing verbally. That's why we're where we're at now, because it originally came from a verbal. But you're a council representative. You have the floor, sir.
I propose friendly amendments is number one, remove all HIP terminology and change the housing repair program. Second, change the funding amount to $1.3 million to $3 million. 3, previous application submitted to community development will only be used and must be submitted to the Seminole Nation procurement. Current management process as developed from the initial program. Limit up to $15,000 per qualified household application.
Those are the amendments that you,
That's before we propose.
I would accept them.
There's a second for that motion. Accept them as well.
You don't need a second. I accepted his motion, I have a second on mine.
Yeah, there's a second on the motion. Accept them. I am the chair here. You do. All right. All right. Then this is no longer out of order, because y'all did with that friendly amendment what executive recommended you do and take the language of HIP out. Okay. So we're back to the original. We're back to the original motion with those amendments. We're still in discussion. Representative Fulbright.
So this is going to keep us in compliance with those amendments?
It would keep us in compliance by removing the HIP language, yes. But would it achieve everything that we could under the final rule and in relation to housing? Not necessarily. If you look at the next resolution, it is a complete replacement and overhaul of the original intent with that one, with 77.
I say we just take a vote on it, the council knows what we, what this, what Wayne's resolution consists of, with the amendments and everything, and just get it off the floor. He's not willing to withdraw it. Take the
Okay,
vote.
you have a couple of friendly amendments. So this is the original motion with those amendments.
Right.
That's what you would be voting on, council. Of course, there's no, what the Assistant Chief is saying, there's some concern. I kind of from my perspective, I think it cleans it up. I know you said it cleans it up as far as HIP, but I think it cleans it up altogether according, do you have a dispute with that?
Not with what they want delivered with that resolution.
I
But
see.
it's restrictive. It's restrictive on what we can actually do. If we want to improve a neighborhood or individual's homes, but also put in a storm cellar, we can't with 77. We can with the next one, because it's not restrictive.
Yeah, I think, you know, if the council desires, we could combine those, the intent of those resolutions and add more funding, and therefore be within an area of the final rule where there will be no questions asked by this.
And again, I don't want to interrupt, but there was another 18 pages plus an index that leads you to about another 150 pages of rules that was released less than 30 days ago.
Right.
How many in here have read it? And it was on the council portal, it was emailed to you directly, and nobody's read it. And that's disheartening.
Okay. We do have a motion on the floor. We do have a second, and we do have the friendly amendments that were accepted, and that's where we're at this time.
Well, the other
Have the
thing,
floor.
the
I
other
still have the floor.
point of information there that,
You did not yield the floor, Representative Fulbright? Hold, she didn't yield the floor, Representative Shaw. Representative Fulbright.
Then let's call for questions. Get this over.
I object.
Oh, all right. I actually seen some hands up before the question was called, and we're going to do the courtesy of respect to this, to your bands and that you represent. Representative Shaw, there is a order of our meetings. We can't speak 5 or 6 times on the same subject matter according to that order of that rule of order. But go ahead right now and do your final talk on this subject, and then I'm going to call on Representative Emerton.
Okay, now, the thing is, there's no mention of a cellar anywhere in here. Where'd you get that from?
Neighborhood investment. If you read the final rule, it defines.
If we
Let
want
me do a clarity here as
to- But we're saying housing repair program, not build something new out there.
Neighborhood investment, if you read the final rule.
We could go to the next resolution, and you can appropriate money to neighborhood investment as well, if that's what the council desires.
No, I don't think so. I think you're muddying the water up here.
No.
No, not intentionally.
Not at all.
Just trying to make clarity.
Because this does not say anything, say, you're jumping back over here saying, well, we gotta do this because we're gonna put in the storm cellar. That's not housing improvement. The quality of living, I can run out here under a tree and hide from a tornado.
Okay, let's get back to the subject matter here. Representative,
Y'all aren't staying to it.
as the chair of this council, I am trying to make clarity of all this conversation taking place right now.
But no,
And-
you're
and
not
I'm-
supposed to do that. You just need to let.
Well, no, I'm supposed to clarify what the council is going to be voting on, and anything that comes in between the conversations and discussion, and if there's confusion, I clear the air before we go to a vote. And that's the duties of the chairman.
But you're clearing it the wrong way.
No,
Blowing
sir.
Smoke the other way.
No, sir. Absolutely not. Representative Emerton.
Yes, I just wanted the amendment restated, 'cause I just wanted to write it down.
Okay, and the secretary probably appreciate that too. Go ahead and, you got it written down there, Representative Larney.
Number one, remove all terminology and change to housing repair program. Number two, change funding amount from 1.3 million to 3 million. 3, previous application submitted to community development will only be used and must be submitted to the Seminole Nation recruitment. Current management process has developed from the initial program. 4, limited up to 15,000 per qualified household application. We're trying to help those applicants who apply but are not served
And I would ask for one recommendation as opposed to using the word repair, rehabilitation. The word repair does not, it's not mentioned in the final rule, it's rehabilitation.
Yeah, let's use those terminology. Is that accepted in the friendly? That's accepted? That's accepted? Okay. Then repair is changed to the term rehabilitation. Is that clear for the council? Okay. All right then. Questions have been called for with that clarity. So, Secretary, this is the TR 2023 with those amendments that's been stated several times. Secretary, call the roll.
Anthony Conley?
No.
John Narkemy?
No.
Rena Tiger? Terry Edwards?
No.
Ida Gonzalez?
No.
Nancy Fixico?
No.
Joseph Billy?
Yes.
Karen Fulbright?
No.
Ann Borba?
No.
Stephanie Lambert?
Yes.
Lottie Cootie?
Yes.
Marilyn Moore?
Yes.
Henson Lena?
Yes.
Richmond Larney?
Yes.
Wayne Shaw?
Yes.
Catherine McCoy?
Yes.
Charlie Hill?
Yes.
Tommy Chupko?
Yes.
Danita Harjo?
Yes.
Willis Dethridge?
Yes.
Desiree Emerton?
Yes.
I have 13 yeses, 8 noes, 0 abstain.
With a count of 13 yes, 8 noes, and 0 abstentions, I declare that TR 2023-77 with amendments has passed. Representative Dethridge.
Chairman, as soon as possible, could we ask the General Counsel Secretary to send us the final version of GR 43-77 as we voted on it today?
Yes.
Four amendments that were added to it.
I'll ask that the, that the Attorney General draft that resolution as council has passed it and send it out as soon as possible to the General Counsel.
And the band chiefs as well.
And band chiefs as well.
Thank you.
Did she, you hear that, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I want to say this. Assistant Chief was trying to bring clarity. He was not trying to bring clouds. And he's fairly astute on this final rule and also other areas of the ARPA. So that's what he was attempting to do. TR 2024-43.
I'd like to withdraw until I can make those corrections that we had mentioned earlier.
Okay, we're going to have to state what those corrections are, and so that they can be heard, recorded, and documented by the council secretary.
I was going to withdraw. So-
Okay, you're just going to withdraw.
And then we'll get what you guys, and then redraft.
Okay, you just want to withdraw the resolution at this time. Okay, TR 2024-43 has been withdrawn. Now we're in report of committees, which there's none at this time. We are now in new business, which is open discussion on ARPA. And please remember the appropriations by the council at the quarterly meeting, and remember the appropriations that was passed here today as well. Representative Larney.
Yeah, on ARPA, I have a verbal resolution to address on the water infrastructure issue. This is the condition allocating at least $3.2 million of remaining ARPA funds that will provide for drilling a new commercial water well and pump equipment and storage facility with adequate capacity to address current water deficiencies. As you know, I sit on the panel to help grade and score and interview our DMs, our CMs, and our water supply plant's going up, and you guys have wells going in, they're domestic wells. Those domestic wells won't handle that in your pool. That pool will take 640,000 gallons of water. That's a 350-foot water well. It will not keep up. You run your electricity high, blow out fuses, you knock the water pump out. That pump will be running all the time. It's like 20 gallons per minute if you're lucky. If we could put a storage facility in a commercial capacity that holds the water to help this mission, because it's growing very much. We have a lot of pockets going on here. And the water is very good. I know you guys tabled and we passed, tabled resolution 4 for $8 million. But now we have a plan. We have the DNs and CNOs working for us right now, as we are paying them right now, as we speak, to get this water infrastructure right for the future of this nation. And I really believe that needs to be touched very well, because without water, we have nothing. We got all this new stuff going up, but we don't have the water to really take on what we have. And like I said, I intervened. And I asked the main question, what's your worries about any of these projects coming up, basically water infrastructure? And the last resolution is for $2.5 million, but all of that would take care of is the lagoon, the wastewater, the cells out there. That's really needed. It's going to take a majority of that money, of $2.5 million, to get that lagoon played. Now, those domestic wells may help the splash pad, but ain't going to help that pool that you guys have the drains on. You need water bad. And I just wanted to bring it up to you guys for our discussion.
Well,
we're not going to ever have this money again.
Well, I think over the last 30 years that we've always been concerned about the water. We've had in-depth studies on the water here at Miccosukee Mission. Everybody that has been, associated with tribal affairs at the council level or any other level are aware of those challenges that we have here at Miccosukee. And that was why that was the very first resolution proposed outside of the distribution with ARPA funds. The distribution was the first one proposed. That was taking care of the people. This was very close to the top 2 or 3 resolutions that came. At that time, it did not pass, but we know that's an ongoing issue. And I know you spoke some things, but about the existing well that's there that would do well for the splash pad. The question, because I know you're a contractor, and it may have been a concern of the contractors, but my understanding is what was shared with me that this well would, with the storage tank, take care of the needs that is planned for that location. And Assistant Chief, is that your understanding as well?
It is. Currently, the one well that is drilled, we're at 25 gallons a minute at 330 feet. The other well that was more or less an irrigation test well is about the same level and is comparable with gallons per minute. There's a commercial well that's maybe 1,500 feet north across the fence line at Tiger Trucks that's at about 60 gallons a minute because it was drilled with a larger bore. So it's not a question of whether or not the water is available. The quality of water is pristine, as opposed to what's on top of this hill. The water that's 1,000 feet from here is pristine. Bottling it would actually diminish the quality of it. It is that good. So it's not a question of quality, it's not a question of treatment, it's not a question of anything of that nature. It's storage and distribution lines and as long as we can achieve a secondary storage and the distribution lines, which have been identified in the feasibility studies and the technical studies that we already have. We know how many.
Can the council hear our Assistant Chief speak? You might need to speak on the microphone, sir. And it's good for the recording as well.
So the well that is dedicated for the splash pad itself, right now it's around 330 feet. We're getting 25 gallons per minute. That splash pad is a recirculation system. So once that initial maybe 1,500 gallons, which would take about an hour to fill, is in the storage tank, the only time that well is going to operate is if it's needing to replenish from evaporation, things of that nature. So there's going to be initial demand on it, but as far as it being sustainable for that, it is. Again, Tiger Trucks, which is just across the fence line, they have one well that's getting 60 gallons a minute. Water's not the issue, it's just extracting it.
And I think the question is quantity, over a period and sustained period of time.
Correct.
That would be required by
And
those
so-
water features.
So the other thing is the feasibilities have already been conducted. We know how many feet of line we need. We know what the existing lines are. Again, it's just appropriating and executing what this council has desired since, what was that, pre-2012? I think there's been 2 studies done, 2008, maybe 2012. Those studies cost $250,000. We're not going to order another one for them to tell us it's now worse, especially without an appropriation. And that's what this council has asked time and time again, is for another study. What's a $250,000 study? That's almost the cost of what we need for the distribution lines that we already know. It's redundant and wasteful. It's not stewards of the money, of our people's money. Representative Cootie?
When that feasibility study was done, did you have the veterans building and everything already built at that time?
No, we know it wasn't.
How many other buildings have we had built since then?
2.
Okay.
Diabetes and that. So now we,
And just recent, and as a matter of fact, when we were taught, when this resolution came up about building indoor and outdoor swimming pool, we had a gentleman from council got up and explained that it's very expensive, first of all, and the upkeep, and then we had a problem with the water, and just last week or so, there was a program, or I don't know how many programs out here, couldn't come into work because shortage of water.
Let me
it
clarify.
was not shortage of water.
Yeah, it was not a shortage of water. That was a water line that had broken and it had to be repaired.
It was a planned repair.
Yeah, it was a repair.
That was a planned
And also,
repair.
the water concerns here, and I've been a part of either the council or commissions for a long period of time. So I know what conversations has taken place by 5 different principal chiefs and council. And I will share this with you, but you're sharing things that you don't have 100% surety on. You're throwing things out in the air that are not established. So I'm going to clarify that. The water is not the issue, especially when we are under Lima Bowlegs. It was the line getting out of here, and they have other people they serve. Obviously, if we have our own water, we're not being charged through Lima Bowlegs District. The concern has always been infrastructure. It's old infrastructure, the pipelines and everything. We're over one of the largest aquifers in the Midwest of the United States of America. We have water. So I hear that in public meetings. I hear about it in different areas. We have water, okay? It's how we get that water out.
I mean, you're telling me, you're making it sound like we have everything, but we've had this problem for years and years. So why hasn't it been done?
The general council has not approved an appropriation.
Oh, we got everything except we just.
I'll go back and look and see who voted no, and we could have had it all done by now, actually. That could be.
For one thing.
Representative Dethridge, and then we're going to move on.
A couple of questions. I'm certain that Mr. Larney has probably put a figure into his head on how to get the water to where it's usable. How much do you think that we need?
About 3 million?
I mean,
About 3 million?
one more time,
3 million.
$3 more million.
Yeah, 3 more
We
million.
spent it
All
about
right.
15 minutes ago. I don't know how much ARPA money we
Well, we have the treasurer of the Seminole Nation here.
But he walking out with it.
I have the paperwork right here.
I wanna know how much money, cause I don't wanna hold.
6.2.
And so if it's 3, we probably need 6 appropriated for this project.
No, 3, not 3. We already have DMs working, CMs working for us. We might as well utilize them right now to get this right.
That's right.
This is a profession, we're paying for our rent, we already lost money on all this stuff. You see broken concrete out there, there's broken concrete out there, that we spent money on, that's already been wasted, because it's not ADA compliant. Let's use the money now, we're using poor investments on the nation. This is for the people, I mean, we're just doing poor investments everywhere. We need to get this right, because this is the future of our nation.
Absolutely.
I'm not just for my man, I'm for the nation.
Yeah.
This is on live TV too, I wanna let everybody know that, you know, there's a lot we can be smart about, there needs to be planning, and there's a lot of, to attack it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why it was at the top.
That's why I was so good at work.
That's why water infrastructure was at the top of the proposals for this council to address when we came out with.
I know this, way back in 2022, whenever that first.
Whenever it was.
That $8 million, our band was in support of that, the Okiesi band was in support of that.
I know.
Check it. They were in support of, several bands were
It almost
support
passed.
of this. When we had the money, I want to make certain that we've got enough money to do this right today. So I'm asking Bill Larney to say, yes, we do, or I don't know.
Well, he can tell you how much money. He can't tell you if you have the money to do the project, okay? He can tell you how much money. We just had a $3 million appropriation, treasurer. So take that and take that to mind. Sustainability over the period after we're all no longer around here, definitely is very important to the sustainability of the nation. Personally, I believe Miccosukee ought to be a stronghold for us as a people. There will come a time, and maybe not in your lifetime or my lifetime, but maybe in our great-grandchildren's lifetime, they're going to need a place to come to where they can have energy and where they can have water. Representative Lambert, and then I'm turning over to you, Treasurer.
Can you go ahead and answer the question that was already requested of him?
The question was, Mr. Larney, is how much ARPA money do we have available for infrastructure?
Okay, well, let me tell you this. Okay, Mr. Petit requested a breakdown of all the ARPA. We put that on a portal, so it should be on the portal. It has breakdown what's an estimated amount that's left out of after the receipt of the ARPA and all the appropriation. There's roughly about 5.5 million left.
And
So,
we spent 3 of it a while ago?
well, if y'all approved it, it would be.
No, we did spend $3 million a while ago.
Yeah,
Okay,
they
so
approved
that leaves you
that.
2.
So the math now is we're down to $2.5 million.
Yeah, roughly, yes.
And Mr. Larney said this project's gonna cost $3 million, so, I mean,
No. So, to answer your question, no, you don't have enough money to do all that. Because you've got all this built up in the appropriations, so.
I would suggest that we spend the last $2.5 million towards this project, because it's like Mr. Larney says, this Mr. Larney over here.
You're the legislative body of the Seminole Nation.
This is an investment, this property here
oh,
is an investment for the Seminole Nation.
I'm the choir and you're singing to me, okay? How can we do it? You came up with that figure. This is the treasurer of the nation. He has that figure.
Let's work with our DMs and CMs and see what we can do, what they can pull off for us.
How much was the original estimation that you came up with, Representative Larney? 3.2?
3.2, yeah.
Well,
wells, we have tanks, right? We have tanks on that, right?
if the council desires to entertain this today, executive will propose making the difference up for that water infrastructure out of LATCF. And we do have the funds. I would like to seen it last 3 years, but it probably is not going to, right? Y'all want to get the water right once and for all?
I do. I have. Our band has.
I hope your figures are right there, Representative Larney, because we can't pull any more rabbits out of the hat. I know you have, and I'm not questioning that at all.
Do I still have the floor or not?
Well, you can have.
I got one more question, and then I'll yield the floor. Is there a verbal resolution to spend this $3.2 million on more right now?
We're the remaining of the ARPA funds, and then we have to come up with some out of another source, and we can do that with LATCF right now.
I'll sponsor it if there's nobody else says that, I'll sponsor it.
I think he wants to sponsor that verbal.
You sponsor it, I'll second it. That's how let's do something.
And then we have Representative Lambert, after the treasurer spoke, that wants the floor. Representative Lambert.
I was gonna ask if the original, bill, what was that? The original one that I withdrew, as written, would cover this.
Well, the original 8.2 was covering all the
Well, there's
lagoon.
no amount in it.
No, there was. I
The
mean, the original
neighborhood
resolution.
investment, the neighborhood investment resolution?
Yeah, the neighborhood investment.
Yes, yes.
Would cover.
Yeah,
this
that was,
with this, with the mission as a priority.
we already appropriated 3 million. That was
Yeah.
more than the 1.3, so the answer
So it
to
would
that.
change the amount.
The answer to that is, the treasurer just spoke. He said we have, besides 2.2 million left.
So if we change the amount to 2.2 million,
What was you saying, Bill? Recall that again. Was it 2.2 left after today's appropriation? 2.5? Okay, we can dig and find LATCF if the council approves it today, okay? Let's stick with that thought, okay?
I'm thinking with that thought, I'm looking at this, TR 2275, water, mission water and wastewater. We got $2.5 million there, of which, John told me that it didn't pass, it was pulled back.
No,
That's
no,
not correct.
you're in a different time zone there, Representative. No.
So, I was looking at that, it showed, you'll spend $61,515 of it.
Any of the wastewater projects is for the lagoon systems that was discussed briefly with this. That's where you're going to make up the difference with the original 8.2 summarized when we first brought it to the council, because that was going to include the lagoons. Now that we have separate resolutions that's going to take care of that, it bumped it down a little. So if you stick with what Representative Larney is proposing, that's going to take care of our water according to what was stated here today.
Well, then if that's it and nobody else, that's, I'll call for the question.
Okay, hold on. He put that in a verbal resolution. We had Tuscarawas Band saying they would second it. Is that correct? Okay, with those amendments that the remaining part of it will come out of LATCF.
And one thing I would like to add is that, we passed this verbal with the intent, but allow the specific language and definitions that are in the final rule to be placed afterwards, because we don't have it at hand to be able to use
Is that agreeable? We
the
put the
correct
right
language.
terminology in because we want to be in compliance with, and we have the AG, she'll put it in that perspective, okay?
Okay.
Is that understood?
Understood. But I've got some numbers here. I don't know whether these are Mr. Next year figures, or is that?
Okay, that is if you approve, but let me get this first issue clarified. Okay, now, the.
We're not in the
allocation
hole.
That you're talking about on the water infrastructure. Now, I believe there's 6.2 that's left over from the 2 distribution. That has to be reallocated. Okay, now as far as the 600 you're talking about, that's due to the fact that if, based on the numbers that I have, is that we appropriated, let's see, there's 95 million plus, I want to say 96 plus, that's been reappropriated, so that would be, you would overexpend by 616,000, yeah, 606,000. So, but as far as the balance on the 2 distribution, it is 6.2.
Okay, we need some clarification here, Treasurer, because you said a moment ago we had 5.2 left. We had Representative Larney saying that we were at 6.2 when he was coming, 5.6.
Oh, you were talking, okay, now that's,
No.
I misunderstood that, that's
Okay,
6.2.
what we need to know, we have $3 million, we have a $3 million appropriation that was already approved by this council, okay? Now, with that $3 million appropriation, with unexpended funds from the distribution, and with any funds that we may have had that hadn't been appropriated out of ARPA, what is the amount we have to spend?
So that amount, okay, would be, the 6.2 would be from the leftover distribution amount. And then how much are you talking about now? Yeah.
Okay, all right, you have enough to do the water infrastructure without LTCF. Okay, and that's why I wanted to clear it up, and I had to leave the chair to do it.
And I just want to offer one point for clarity, for clarification. Had the original tabled resolution, 2443, been approved, it would have covered everything that we've spent the last hour speaking about.
I don't think that was tabled.
It was withdrawn. It was withdrawn. It was tabled and withdrawn. It would have covered. It's not on the floor, but it would have covered all of this. I'm offering a point of clarification. So we have a verbal resolution to develop water infrastructure for the McSookie mission, the correct terminology and language so that it is in compliance with the final rule will be added in and forwarded to you should this verbal resolution pass.
Okay, all right, everybody understand?
We understand the
It's coming
intent.
from ARPA, no LATCF. It will last 3 years.
Call for question.
Question's been called. Secretary, call the roll.
Anthony Conley. Yes. John Narkemy.
Yes.
Rena Tiger.
Yes.
Terry Edwards.
Yes.
Ida Gonzalez.
Yes.
Nancy Fixico.
Yes.
Joseph Billy. Karen Fulbright.
Yes.
Ann Borba.
Yes.
Stephanie Lambert.
Yes.
Lottie Cootie.
Yes.
Marilyn Moore.
Yes.
Henson Lena.
Yes.
Richmond Larney.
Yes.
Wayne Shaw.
Yes.
Catherine McCoy. Charlie Hill.
Yes.
Tommy Chupko.
Yes.
Danita Harjo.
Yes.
Willis Dethridge.
Absolutely.
Desiree Emerton.
Yes.
I have 20 yeses, 0 nos, 1 abstain.
Count of 20, 0, and 1. That verbal resolution for water infrastructure for the McSookie mission has passed. And I want to offer a point of clarity with how we report this to the U.S. Treasury. Anything that's infrastructure related, anything that falls under those categories, regardless of how this general council approves it, we have $200,000 for wastewater. We have another 250, everything that's going to be collectively added up and reported to Treasury as infrastructure. So it doesn't necessarily matter how this council has approved it, how we have to report that. It's the scope of the entire intent of the project. We can't break it down to drop it below certain dollar amount thresholds for reporting. That's a red flag. They're gonna look at us and say, why is there 3 or 4 different appropriations when there could have been one project?
It's going to be fine, Chief.
But it's gonna be good, it's gonna be fine, but I just wanted to offer a point of clarity so that whenever you look at these projects and how that audit is done and how they're reported to the US Treasury, you have an understanding of what our obligation is on how it has to be reported. It's gonna collectively be one infrastructure, one broadband, one housing improvement. It's not gonna be all these separate resolutions, how it was approved by council, because I know that's gonna be brought up at some point whenever those reports are released. Thank
We will
you.
report accordingly, according to what we're handed by the federal government, and we have been doing so for the last 3 years. So I have no problem with that. We're going to take care of business on our end, okay? So I think without any disturbance from the gallery, I want to say thank all of you representatives. That was a unanimous decision by the General Counsel to address the water infrastructure here in the mission. We do know this, that we know all throughout the final rule, water infrastructure and sewage is a 2 thumbs up, you know, by the Treasury and by the United States government. So our reporting is done by CPAs, so we're gonna do our end of the reporting properly. So thank you very much, Council. We are now in continued. We're going to go on to TR 2024-61 because now that the expenditures have been fulfilled there, that's where we're at. TR 2024-61, we had a tribal resolution of the General Council of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma approving the appointment of Richmond Larney to the Seminole Nation Roads Committee. I entertain a motion to that effect. Motion by Representative Lambert of the Miccosukee Band, second by Representative Emerton of the Tuscarawas Band. Secretary, call the roll. Everyone knows how their bands wanted in the vote.
Anthony Conley.
Yes.
John Narkemy.
Yes.
Rena Tiger.
Yes.
Terry Edwards.
Yes.
Ida Gonzalez.
Yes.
Nancy Fixico.
Yes.
Joseph Billy. Karen Fulbright.
Yes.
Ann Borba.
Yes.
Stephanie Lambert.
Yes.
Lottie Cootie. Marilyn Moore. Henson Lena.
Yes.
Richmond Larney.
Yes.
Wayne Shaw.
Yes.
Catherine McCoy.
Yes.
Charlie Hill.
Yes.
Tommy Chupko.
Yes.
Danita Harjo.
Yes.
Willis Dethridge.
Yes.
Desiree Emerton.
Yes.
I have 20 yeses, 0 nos, 1 abstain.
With a count of 20 yes, 0 no's, and 1 abstentions, I declare that TR 2024-61 has passed. And we have TR 2024-62, Finance Committee, Anastasia Pittman. Representative Gonzalez, you take that up? Okay, go right ahead.
Tribal Resolution 2024-62, a tribal resolution of the General Council of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma approving the budget modification for law enforcement and incorporation of said budget in the FY 2024 comprehensive budget and authorizing appropriation. I make a motion to approve and I ask for a second. Second.
Motion to approve by Representative Gonzalez, seconded by Representative Pittman. Any questions? Representative Dethridge. We do have live horse.
Very last page, it says personnel, salary and annual leave, 6 full-time employees, and then it says reducing the staff by 2 police officers. Is that correct or not?
Live horse, come forth. Man, that sounds like biblical language. Will you please come forward?
Chief Coach, real quick question. Are you going to reduce your staff by 2 police officers?
No.
Thank you very much. I can support this legislation.
Thank you.
For questions.
No more questions? Okay. Secretary, call the roll. This is TR 2024-62.
Anthony Conley.
Yes.
John Narkemy.
Yes.
Rena Tiger.
Yes.
Anastasia Pittman.
Yes.
Terry Edwards.
Yes.
Ida Gonzalez.
Yes.
Nancy Fixico.
Yes.
Joseph Billy. Karen Fulbright.
Yes.
Ann Borba.
Yes.
Stephanie Lambert.
Yes.
Lottie Cootie.
Yes.
Marilyn Moore.
Yes.
Henson Lena.
Yes.
Richmond Larney.
Yes.
Wayne Shaw.
Yes.
Catherine McCoy.
Yes.
Charlie Hill.
Yes.
Tommy Chepko.
Yes.
Danita Harjo.
Yes.
Willis Dethridge.
Yes.
Desiree Emerton.
Yes.
I have 21 yeses, 0 nos, 1 abstain.
With a count of 21 yes and 0 no's and 1 abstention, I declare TR 2024-62 to have passed. We are at TR 2024-63. Representative Gonzalez.
Tribal resolution of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma approving a new budget for the state Small Business Credit Initiative funding and incorporation of said budget in the fiscal year 2024 comprehensive budget and authorizing appropriation. I make a motion to approve and I ask for a second. Second.
There's motion to approve, and I heard a second come from this direction. Who was that? Representative Fixico. Okay, there's a motion and second. Comments, discussion, questions? Representative Dethridge.
I had asked this question and I wanted to ask it again publicly to the Assistant Chief. Will there be somebody hired to help guide a tribal member with the process of applying for a loan? Or will we just be left in the dark?
Well,
His answer was, no, we're gonna hire somebody.
I want you to know I've already talked to you about this as well. We applied for additional funding, which is close to $300 and some odd thousand for training to equip our people to have the best chance to be able to acquire a loan. So yes, the answer is yes. Assistant Chief?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, could we ask the Assistant Chief, he almost says it like he wants to say something. I can't read mine, but I could read gesture.
Chief is correct. What he was alluding to is a technical assistance grant that the SBA developed and released after the initial SSBCI program applications were launched. So it's coming after the fact, but we will receive that. There will be educational material that's developed. There'll be somewhat of a landing page, checklist, things that individuals can do their own homework on, as well as that technical assistance that Chief spoke about.
When will this hit the floor, this money?
Upon this passage.
Okay.
And again, with the fact that the technical assistance was released after, it's gonna take a bit for it to catch up. And
Just understand that with the federal government, there are processes, and that's usually what holds anybody up, is the red tape. So we have been fortunate to be able to go after these funds, acquire it with the approval of the council, have the team that's working on this as well. So we look for great opportunities for our tribal members as well. You know, it could be used by our businesses as well if that's what the desire is, and if they meet the qualifications for those types of things. So it comes out in tranches. They call them tranches, okay?
Right.
So they come out like 1.1 million, the first tranche, and if you spend 80% or loan 80% of that first tranche, then you can ask for the second tranche, which comes out in similar types of appropriations there from the government. So it doesn't come and hit us all at once, 4.1, okay? Comes out in what they call tranches. I saw Representative Cootie's hand and then Representative Shaw.
The question is that when people apply for loans for business,
mean, they're gonna have to have a business model that meets all the requirements. I can't speak to what those are individually, but that will all, I mean, it's gonna have to be a real business with a real business plan, with the strategies to, you know,
Repay.
be successful.
It's not a grant.
I remember, somebody helped me with plans and everything, to start a small business, and I went to the, small business, place to apply for dollars, and that was one of the things that they were saying, that you didn't have anything to, collateral, and, you had to put everything in the bank, and I thought, well, if I had money in the bank, I wouldn't have to be borrowing anything before, so, I mean, people like, a lot of our people that would like to start small businesses and everything, but a lot of them don't have nothing to start with, that's why they're, applying for dollars.
Yeah, and that's the intent of this, but the business model and everything will have to fit.
There is no shortcuts. They will have to have an application with a business plan, and that's the way these funds will be spent. So it's not a grant. They will have to be, if they are approved for it, they will have amortization schedules to pay it back.
The business that I was trying to put out was, I had, feasibility, I had tried to fit, I would leave in an area, location was good and everything, and still, I couldn't get the loan, so I'm just asking.
Well, there's still one area that's kind of gray, and they're trying to get back with us for certainty. I know that at least in the area of the government, as far as executive is concerned, and anybody that's related to us, they can apply for this under the rules. And it may go for the council too, but we'll clarify that, okay? It may go for the council. I want you to know that, but we will clarify that. I think they might give some lenience to us to maybe not include the council, but since we wear the crown, that's at this time that's the rules. So y'all ain't kin to me now, are you? I'm teasing y'all. Come on now, we can break the monotony. Any other questions? I think Representative Shaw.
Yeah, the question I have is, this is one of our programs that we've allocated already several $1 million to?
No.
And why don't we get a report from them? We never have a report from them.
We haven't allocated no funds from SSCBCI.
Do y'all get a report?
There's nothing been spent.
Yeah, there's,
SSBCI.
yeah,
Well,
it's
at
not
least
allocation.
You can put that in there and say, hey, nothing's been spent.
Well, you just said we spent several hundreds of thousands of dollars, and that's not true.
Resolution.
So once this resolution is passed,
But the thing is,
then we can do that.
if I was just a layman, walked up here and looked at this, that's the way it looks like. You gave them people 4 million, whatever it is.
No.
4.5 million to SSBI.
That's going to be the total amount that will be
Well,
our shares.
I'm just saying, if I was a layman, I just walked up here and looked at it, that's the way I would look at it.
Okay.
So we need at least a report saying, we've not spent this money, or there's this much money still available, or not available. That's it.
We ain't taking no applications, so there's no money spent. Okay. All right. Representative Borba, and then we're going to go back to the question if there's no other comments.
Yes, when we were still having our meetings in the gym, we had a company come in and talk to us, and they would provide loans to our tribal members, if you had a business plan. Does this kind of coincide with that?
That is that. It's the same thing.
Okay, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was.
Yeah, we're just finishing up the budget part of it, and eventually we'll get to tranches of funds that will come down.
That original presentation
Yes,
gave authorization to DCN to develop the plan and apply for the grant or the funding. We have now received that, and now this is to approve it so that it can be functional.
Okay,
So
I have
this
had
is,
several people asking questions about how they can get a business started, so.
We
I was
may,
asking for
we may go ahead and call a public meeting before too long, and then try to answer all tribal members' questions on this, so
yeah,
that there won't
DCN would be
be,
happy to do
there
that.
won't be so much information going out that's not accurate, okay? We'll do that. Let's do a public meeting on this and bring in all the people that's involved. Okay, we're back to the original motion, TR 2024-63. There's a motion to approve and a second. Secretary?
Anthony Conley. Yes. John Narkemy.
Yes.
Rena Tiger. Yes. Anastasia Pittman.
Yes.
You're not in your chair. Anastasia Pittman.
Yes.
Terry Edwards. Ida Gonzalez.
Yes.
Nancy Fixico. Joseph Billy. Karen Fulbright. Ann Borba.
Yes.
Stephanie Lambert.
Yes.
Lottie Cootie. Marilyn Moore. Henson Lena. Richmond Larney.
Yes.
Wayne Shaw.
Yes.
Catherine McCoy. Charlie Hill. Tommy Chupko. Danita Harjo. Willis Dethridge. Desiree Emerton. I have 21 yeses, 1 no, 0 abstain.
With a count of 21 yes, 0 no's, and 1 abstention, I declare TR 2024-63 to have passed. We are on TR 2024-64. Representative Gonzalez.
Tribal resolution of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma approving the budget modification of the Seminole Nation Bureau of Indian Affairs Transportation Budget and incorporation of said budget in the fiscal year 2024 comprehensive budget and authorizing 2 new positions. I make a motion to approve and ask for a second.
We have a motion to approve by Representative Gonzalez. It is seconded by Representative Fixico. And we do have the director of the program here this morning, Ms. Rachel Dinwiddie. Is there any questions or discussion on this? We have a motion and a second. Questions, discussion, comments? I see none, I hear none. Secretary, call the roll. TR 2024-64.
Anthony Conley. John Narkemy.
Yes.
Rena Tiger. Anastasia Pittman. Terry Edwards. Ida Gonzalez.
Yes.
Nancy Fixico. Joseph Billy. Karen Fulbright.
Yes.
Ann Borba.
Yes.
Stephanie Lambert.
Yes.
Lottie Cootie. Marilyn Moore. Henson Lena.
Yes.
Richmond Larney.
Yes.
Wayne Shaw.
Yes.
Catherine McCoy. Charlie Hill. Tommy Chupko. Danita Harjo. Willis Dethridge. Desiree Emerton. I have 21 yeses, 0 no's, 1 abstain.
With a count of 21 yes, 0 no's, and 1 abstention, I declare TR 2024-64 to have passed. TR 2024-65, Representative Lambert.
A tribal resolution of the General Council of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma authorizing the Seminole Nation Transportation Department to prepare and submit an application for funding pursuant to the Tribal Transportation Program Bridge Program of the Federal Highways Administration to repair and replace 5 bridges located in the Seminole Nation Reservation.
There's a motion.
Make a motion.
Motion by Representative Lambert, seconded by Representative Shaw. Any questions, comments? Questions, comments, discussion? I see none. I hear none. Secretary, call the roll. TR 2024-65.
Anthony Conley. John Narkemy.
Yes.
Rena Tiger.
Yes.
Anastasia Pittman.
Yes.
Terry Edwards.
Yes.
Ida Gonzalez.
Yes.
Nancy Fixico.
Yes.
Joseph Billy. Karen Fulbright.
Yes.
Ann Borba.
Yes.
Stephanie Lambert.
Yes.
Lottie Cootie. Marilyn Moore. Henson Lena.
Yes.
Richmond Larney.
Yes.
Wayne Shaw. Catherine McCoy.
Yes.
Charlie Hill.
Yes.
Tommy Chupko.
Yes.
Danita Harjo.
Yes.
Willis Dethridge.
Yes.
Desiree Emerton.
Yes.
I have 21 yeses, 0 nos, 1 abstain.
With a count of 21 yes, 0 no's, and 1 abstention, I declare TR 2024-65 to have passed. TR 2024-66, Representative Lambert.
A tribal resolution of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma adopting additions to the Seminole Nation Long Range Transportation Improvement Plan and the Seminole Nation Tribal Transportation Improvement Program, and submission to the Bureau of Indian Affairs of a list of additions to the Seminole Nation Tribal Transportation Improvement Program road inventory. I make a motion to approve and ask for a second.
Motion by Representative Lambert. Second by Representative Pittman. Questions, comments, discussion? I see none, I hear none. Secretary, call the roll.
Anthony Conley.
Yes.
John Narkemy.
Yes.
Rena Tiger.
Yes.
Anastasia Pittman.
Yes.
Terry Edwards.
Yes.
Ida Gonzalez.
Yes.
Nancy Fixico.
Yes.
Joseph Billy. Karen Fulbright.
Yes.
Ann Borba.
Yes.
Stephanie Lambert.
Yes.
Lottie Cootie.
Yes.
Marilyn Moore. Henson Lena.
Yes.
Richmond Larney.
Yes.
Wayne Shaw.
Yes.
Catherine McCoy.
Yes.
Charlie Hill.
Yes.
Tommy Chupko.
Yes.
Danita Harjo.
Yes.
Willis Dethridge.
Yes.
Desiree Emerton.
Yes.
I have 21 yeses, 0 nos, 1 abstain.
With a count of 21 yeses, 0 no's, and 1 abstention, I declare TR 2024-66 to have passed. TR 2024-67, Representative Borba.
A tribal resolution of the Seminole Nation of Oklahoma authorizing the Executive Office of the Seminole Nation Gaming Enterprise to proceed with the purchase of certain real property located adjacent to I-40 in Seminole County, Oklahoma. I make a motion and ask for a second.
Second.
There's a motion by Representative Borba. There's a second by Representative Fulbright. And there's discussion, comments, and we have Representative Narkemy first, because that's the first hand I saw, then Representative Larney.
No, I was just going to try to say.
Oh, was you? Okay, I saw your hand. Representative Larney.
I asked to go into executive session, and I'll explain why on this resolution.
The Ocheesee Band, Representative Larney, is asking to go into executive session on this particular measure. What say you, council? Is there some objections to go into executive session? Okay, I take it by consensus that there's no objections to go into executive sessions on TR 2024-67. Gallery, we can probably close that door and you can remain in the air-conditioned, cool building, I think. Russell, will that close? And then the cameras will need to be turned off, IT, to the gallery. And thank you for your patience and your participation, gallery.